We heard the screaming before we ever managed to open the door. By the time we realized whose voice it was already too late to pretend we hadn't heard it. I remember the air in those woods felt wrong that afternoon. Too still, too heavy, like the trees were listening. There were 4 of us. Me, my girlfriend Sarah, and our friends Dylan and Mark. We'd taken the long trail past the lake, the one that supposedly looped back to the parking lot, but never quite matched the map. It was Dylan who spotted it first. "Guys, am I crazy, or is that a door?" There, standing alone in a patch of dead leaves, was a door frame with an old wooden door set inside it. No wall, no structure, just a door rooted into the soil like a tree that had decided to sprout in the middle of the woods. "Must be some art installation," Mark said, trying to sound casual. But I felt a prickle at the back of my neck, like we'd walked into the middle of something we weren't supposed to see. The air was colder around it, just a few degrees. Goosebumps began to form on my arms. "Don't," Sarah said quietly as Dylan reached for the handle. "Seriously, don't touch it." He rolled his eyes. "It's a door, not a cursed relic. Let's just see what's on the other side." He turned the knob. It didn't budge. He grunted, put more of his weight into it. The door didn't creak, didn't rattle. It just stayed perfectly still, like it had been nailed to the air. "Locked?" I asked. "There's no lock," Dylan said. His voice had lost some of its bravado. "It's just stuck." We all took turns, pushing, pulling, putting our shoulders into it. The frame didn't shift. The hinges didn't groan. It felt less like something built and more like something sinister. "Let's just go," Sarah muttered. "This is freaking me out." Nobody argued. We were already making nervous jokes, trying to laugh it off as we turned away. We hadn't gone 10 steps when the pounding started. It was sudden and violent, like someone on the other side of the door was slamming both fists against it. We all froze. "Did you hear?" "Shh," Sarah hissed. The pounding came again, then the screaming. It was muffled, like the person was behind thick insulation, but it was unmistakably a human voice, raw and panicked. Words blurred together, but the tone was pure terror. Someone was begging, "Help! Please, open the door!" My stomach dropped. That sounded like... Mark started, then cut himself off, because we had all thought the same thing. It sounded like me. Not exactly, not like a recording, but close enough that my skin turned icy. My own voice, but shredded by terror and distance. "Okay, this is a joke," Dylan said, though his voice shook. "Someone's messing with us." "How?" Sarah snapped. "There's nothing back there. There's nothing but a door." The pounding rattled again, harder, frantic. The voice rose into a hoarse, desperate plea. "Open it! Please, please, don't walk away!" Hearing my own voice begging from the other side of a door that shouldn't exist made my legs feel weak. My mind raced through explanations. Speaker hidden somewhere, someone imitating me, some sick prank. But the fear in that voice didn't sound like someone acting. "We can't just leave whoever that is," I said. "If there even is someone," Sarah whispered. "Think about it. It sounded like you, Matt." "Exactly," Mark said. "That's not normal. This is starting to freak me out." The door shook violently, the frame shuddering without moving an inch from the ground. Leaves rustled around it, as if pushed by a wind that didn't reach us. "Open it!" my voice screamed from the other side. Something inside me caved. I stepped forward. If it's some psycho, then we call the cops. But if it's not... I swallowed hard. If it's not, then I'm not leaving it shut. I reached the door, my heart hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. I wrapped my fingers around the knob. It turned easily. There was no click, no unlocking sound. Just a smooth, almost eager motion, like it had been waiting for the right hand. "Matt, don't," Sarah said behind me. Please, please don't. The screaming on the other side cut off mid-word, as if someone had hit mute. The sudden silence was worse than the noise. I pulled the door open, not knowing what to expect. On the other side were just the same woods, the same trees, the same patch of dead leaves, the same gray sky. I looked through the open frame and saw the trunk of an oak tree 3 feet away, exactly where it should have been. It was just a door frame standing in the dirt, opening onto the rest of the forest. What a letdown, I thought to myself. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. The adrenaline crashed, leaving me feeling stupid and shaky. See? I laughed, turning back to look at Sarah, Dylan, and Mark. Nothing. It's just a piece of junk. But they weren't looking at me. They were staring at the closed door. I took a step toward them, reaching out to touch Sarah's shoulder, but my hand passed through the empty air where she stood. No, not through her. It was like she was the ghost, a projection of light that had no mass. "Matt!" Dylan yelled, spinning around. "Where the hell is he? He was just here." "He went inside," Mark said, his face pale. "I saw him open it and he just vanished." I screamed at them. "I'm right here! Stop messing around!" But they couldn't hear me. I watched, paralyzed, as Dylan grabbed the handle of the door I was currently standing on the other side of, and rattled it. "It's locked again!" Dylan shouted. And then I understood. I wasn't outside looking in. I wasn't inside looking out. I was nowhere. I had stepped through the threshold, but I hadn't come out the other side. I was trapped in the split second between open and closed, in the seam of the world where the door had been planted. I started pounding on the nothingness in front of me. It felt solid, like cold glass. "Help!" I screamed, slamming my fists against the barrier. "Please, open the door!" I saw them freeze. I saw the blood drain from Sarah's face. "Did you hear?" Mark started. "Shh!" Sarah hissed. I screamed louder, my throat tearing with the effort. "Open it, please, please, don't walk away." I watched the scene play out. I watched them argue. I watched the look of dawning horror on their faces as they recognized my voice. I was watching a recording of the last 5 minutes of my life, but from the other side. I realized then what the screaming had been. It wasn't a warning. It wasn't a ghost. It was me. It had always been me. I watched myself, the other me, the one still made of flesh and bone, step forward with that look of grim determination. "If it's not a psycho, then I'm not leaving it shut," the other Matt said. "No!" I screamed, hammering against the invisible divide until my knuckles bled. "Don't open it! If you open it, you take my place. Don't touch it!" But through the thick insulation of reality, my words were just muffled noise. To them, it just sounded like begging. I watched the other Matt reach for the knob. I saw the handle turn. "Matt, don't," Sarah said. The other Matt ignored her. He pulled the door open. For a split second, our eyes met. He looked into the doorframe and saw empty woods. I looked out and saw him. Then the connection snapped. The world lurched. He stepped through, and I was gone.